Hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. If you watched last week's Soundbite, you might remember that I talked about Moses and the Israelites meeting with God at a mountain called Sinai. This week, I'm jumping on a few weeks. They've all left Sinai now. They've travelled back north and they've reached the border of Canaan. This is the land that God promised would be theirs, hence why they called it the Promised Land. When they got there, Moses chose 12 leaders from the 12 different tribes that made up Israel and sent them to spy out the land. They came back bringing some of the fruit that they found there, as well as stories of who they'd seen and where they'd been. Have you ever wanted to make a point and so you told the story in a particular way? You know, maybe emphasise one thing more than another. Well, that's what all of these spies did when they came back. 2 of them told the people how amazing and rich the land was. They told them about the people who lived there at the moment, who they were, where they were, and they told the people with confidence that God had promised this land to them, so all they needed to do was trust God and go for it. The other 10 made a different point. They too talked about a wonderful land, but they talked about the cities that had really big, thick, strong walls. They talked about seeing people that were so big they might as well have been giants. Huge people, impossible to overcome. It was going to be impossible, they said, to take this land. So the people listened to the majority. And as the Israelites seemed to keep doing in this story, they started complaining again. They complained at Moses. They complained at God. Why had they been brought here to be killed? There was no way forward. Why couldn't they just have been left alone in Egypt as slaves? So you've probably guessed it. God wasn't particularly happy. Moses and his brother prayed to God to ask him to forgive the people because God was really, really upset. And God decided, okay, I will stay with the people. I'm still going to take them to the Promised Land, but not yet. Instead of going in right now, settling in the land and being this amazing nation, God said, no, turn around, go back into the desert you've just come out of, and this present generation of you is not going to enter the Promised Land. Only people under the age of 20 were still going to be alive at the time that they got back, apart from 2 people. Those 2 spies that had told everybody, this is amazing, we need to just go for it. Those 2 were the only ones that would go in. You see, there's something important to remember, I think, about God. It's one of the promises he made. He promises that whatever he asks you to do, he will always give you whatever skills or capabilities you need to succeed. He'll always go ahead of you and prepare the way so you don't have to worry. And then when you go, he goes with you. He goes with you and makes sure you're okay. God's promise is never to ask you to do something that he hasn't already enabled you to do, whether you know it or not. It's all about trust. See, God says, trust me. And when the creator of the universe says, trust me, you can be sure that you'll be all right. That's what he asks the Israelites to do, asked them to do then, and that model is still what happens today. As a Christian, I know that if God has asked me to do something, something crazy, like set up a church, LRCC, or run an event like the Christmas party we did, or go and visit someone, I know that he will always be there with me, helping and enabling me to do the right thing. Sometimes it's hard, but I know it's always true. A bit later in the story, God would tell one of those 2 spies, a man called Joshua, be bold and strong because I, the Lord your God, am with you. And God still tells Christians that today. So maybe next time you find yourself in a tough spot, why not just try sending a quick prayer to God? Ask for help. If you're a Christian, you should know he will be there. If you don't believe in God, what have you got to lose? Why not try it and see? Let me know what happened. I hope you have a good week. If you're going to the Field Fun Day this coming Saturday at Inspire Suffolk, I'll see you there because we're going to be there. Otherwise, God bless you and I'll see you next week.